Hello and welcome to JabberJaw. I'm your host, Jessica Dawson Collier, and with me, as always, is Tyson Wheeler Dynas and Matthew David Smith. Guys, welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
And hello. Hello. Hello.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
You're welcome. I hope you wiped your feet at the door. Hey, there it is.
Wow.
Little slow.
It's been a minute.
It's
been a minute.
It actually been a couple weeks, I think. Yeah.
We were up late last. Yeah, we met last night, late night, to draft our fantasy football league. Just as a relation, I just want to relate to the audience. We do normal things too sometimes, and but because of whatever issues, I thought we had to get it done tonight or tomorrow. Turns out the game's not until next week, so it didn't matter. But I'm glad it's done. And I got an A+. I don't know if you guys looked at your scores. No, I got an A-. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I got a C+.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go
Reminded
see.
me of algebra in high school.
Matt did second best with it.
No way, really?
Right?
I like that.
What?
Yeah. Also, I just wanted to point out that Matt, the number one pick that they recommended was the running back from Indianapolis Colts, and Matt, who had first pick, did not pick him. Now, I don't know how the Indianapolis, faithful feel about that, but
to my very limited credit, I just got into the game and I had 14 seconds left to make my first pick. At that point in time, I'd figured out that I could click somebody and click the button, and that it would be. So I fudged it. So it wasn't intentional, but
it's fine. You took the player I was going to take. So I'm just saying. So because I was second. Anyway, enough of that. We will fight about this all season long.
Yay!
Did not take Tom Brady.
It's true.
Somebody took Tom Brady, and yeah. She shall remain.
I think I know who took it.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at each of your rosters very well, but
my backup quarterback is Stafford, so I'm all right. I'll probably get rid of Tom at some point. I was freaking out because I didn't see who I really wanted. And then Jonas was over there being real quiet. And then he was like, guess what I got is my QB.
Oh.
Patrick Mahomes.
It was his inside job, as they say. Well, if you take a quarterback before the first 4 rounds, you really shouldn't. So that's okay.
I do like how nobody picked Aaron Rodgers. That actually made my day.
I picked a lot of people around him. I did not pick that.
I
did too. That. I thought about it several times, and I just couldn't.
Tattoo having motherfucker.
Yeah. I do have to say though, I think Tyson and Beth have the best names in the league and the best pictures.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Lebanon
Slave is a pretty good name for.
Jonas thinks it sounds like an 80s band name, and I'm like, maybe I'll make a T-shirt for the show.
Lebanon Slave. Am I pronouncing it right? Lebanon.
Yeah. Lebanon. And I did it because you can't remember Leobin's name, and he tells me what to do all day. So.
Just like having a real general manager. It sucks.
Yeah, exactly. Basically. Great.
So it's been a couple of weeks. So
what's been going on? Lots of stuff, right?
Yeah, lots of stuff.
Yeah.
I'll start because I've been traveling. I went to the Wisconsin Dells, which if you've never been, you should go.
What are the Wisconsin Dells for the people who aren't familiar? What is that?
The Wisconsin Dells has been a tourist destination for 150 plus years, or maybe 150 minus years. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, it's just this nice little area that they have this weird sediment, sandstone to be exact, that's found in. You can guess how many tours I went on. Only 4 places in the United States, in the world. And this is the only one that's found in the United States. It's a weird mix of we have a lot of sandstone out in western Kansas, but
Yeah.
the stuff they have there retains water, so trees and grass can grow straight out of the rock, which is kind of interesting.
Oh, that's so cool.
And yeah, it makes for a very interesting place. And yeah, so basically, if you've never been, Wisconsin Dells is kind of like the Branson or the Orlando, Florida of destinations for people in the north central area of the country.
Okay.
Um, they have more water parks per capita than any other place, I'm guessing, but it seems like a lot. Um,
No shit. I
yeah,
did not know that.
lots of water parks, and
Okay.
yeah, and then they have everything else like arcades,
That's
old timey
fun.
photos. They have go karts, which we did. I did some zip lining, which I'd never done before, which was kind of pushing myself because I'm afraid of heights. So that was kind of a personal challenge for me. But that was interesting. We were like, I don't know, 250 feet in the air every time we went to a different place, and yeah. And I think the last one we went, we were probably 450 feet above the air. Somebody was like there, they had ziplined across the Grand Canyon, which I was just like, what?
Whoa. What did they have to say about that? Wow, that's
Well,
amazing.
actually, it was his dad that had done it,
Uh,
and I was like, "That's crazy." And he's like, "Yeah." And then I thought about it. I was like, "There's no way you could zip line across the giant expanse." I don't know if you've ever been to the Grand Canyon, but
I've not yet. I want to
it is
go.
literally called a Grand Canyon for a reason. It's just fucking massive, and you couldn't zip line across the great expanse. It would have to be somewhere like towards the end of it, like where or the beginning of it. Um,
Right, right. Okay.
but it was fun. It was fun to watch these 9 or 10-year-old kids have no fear at all and just shame me in my old age.
But
But
you're afraid of heights, so I feel like you should be giving yourself more kudos. I don't think I would ever do that.
I was up there with a bunch of single parents and then not single parents but parents, but either their spouses, either they were single or their spouses didn't come, and the talk turned to drinking immediately after the first jump. Everybody was like, it was kind of like a bunch of like single parents flirting. It was like a date night because people were like, "Oh, I could use a rum," and people were like, "Oh yeah, rum," and then somebody's like, "Oh, I could use a vodka," and then the lady next to me who had two kids, she was like, "Oh, vodka makes me make bad choices," and the other guys were like, "Yeah," and like it was like, okay, what's going on up here? Like, I was like, your kids are right here, like.
Watch yourself. Yeah.
And then one of the little girls with the mom was like, "I think you had a lot to drink last night because you were really groggy this morning." And she's like 9, and mom's like, "We went on a wine tour, dear. 9 single moms on a wine tour. You can't blame me for that." So I got a kick out of that. Anyway, it's great if you're gonna go, and you should go. You should just take the upper boat tour and the lower boat tour, and we also took a duck tour because that's a thing. We didn't mean to. We've been on several ducks. I don't know if you're familiar with those. Um,
Oh, I've never been on one, but I always saw the duck tour bus slash boat in
yeah,
Austin while I was waiting for my bus to show up. It's like,
it's
so maybe
basically
someday.
it's basically like it's an amphibious vehicle that was kind of made for World War II, and they built a bunch of them, and then the war ended, and they're like, "What are we gonna do with all these goddamn vehicles?" They're like, "Let's sell them to tourist places." So a bunch of tourist places bought them, and basically you
Pretty
can just
good idea.
drive people around, and then you can dump into the water, and then suddenly you're in a very diesel filled smelling area of you know it's you can almost pass out, there's so much diesel fumes. Yeah, so that kind of sucks, but on the regular boat it was fine. It was and so yeah, I highly recommend it. You can only get to this place. My favorite thing was this place called Witch's Gulch, and
Oh, yeah, I was gonna ask about that.
you
It's
can
cool.
only get to it if you take a boat ride to it, because the people that own the boat rides own that place, and they've shut down any other way to get access to it because people were vandalizing it, which of course you know how people are.
Yeah,
But
dicks.
yeah. Yeah, the other thing that I thought was interesting was like everybody that we interacted with was 17 or 18 pretty much the whole time we were there, because this is what kids in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan go to do for summer jobs. They go to those Wisconsin Dells, and they have, sort of a Porky's adventure or a Meatballs adventure
Yeah,
or
Lake Geneva was
Action
exactly
Land.
the same thing. Lake Geneva was exactly the same thing. That place was run by 16-year-olds. Like you could not find an adult if you try. It's crazy. I mean, they did a good job, but like,
Yeah,
it's just
our
like,
people were excellent, but
but no,
but
it's like, yeah, like they gave
you could hear them.
Action Park so much shit for that, and then like,
That's
no, it's basically the same thing. They just have to wear polo shirts. Like it's exactly the same shit going on.
Yeah. We
So
tipped. My parents and I went on a boat ride with this lady, and we both tipped the two hosts $40 total. And you would have thought that we had given them a scholarship to fucking Notre Dame. It was ridiculous. Like they were so
I was
happy,
going
and
to
I
say
was just like,
candy tends to work just as well. So you might, save a few bucks next time. It's like reverse trick or
these kids.
treating.
And my mom was like, she was walking away. And my mom was like, spend that on books and stuff for your dorm room. And I'm like, oh, she's gonna have a party before she leaves here. She's not gonna do any of that stuff. And I was
That's what that's
and I was
for.
with that. Yeah. So the mom that I was telling you about that makes bad choices on vodka, like one of the guys that was uh, leading our zipline thing, he was from Romania. His name was Vlad, uh,
Oh,
and
perfect. That's
and
awesome.
he was like, "Why you hurt me so bad saying you could take some money and buy beer? I'm only 18." And she's like, "It's Wisconsin. You can find beer if you want to find beer." And all the other locals laughed, and I was like, "Really? Seriously? All right. All right." I was like, "Well, let's not tempt him with beer at the first jump. Let's go to the third or fourth one before we." Um, so anyway, that was great. I went with my parents. It's the first trip I've taken with my parents by myself. Sally was supposed to go. She got COVID, my sister. So her husband and she didn't go. We lost our dog sitter the day before, so Beth didn't go. And so it was just me and my parents. And my mom was like, when was the last time we hung out? And I was like, probably when I was 1 or 2 before Sally was born, on a vacation. So
Uh-huh. Aw.
anyway, it was nice. I highly recommend it. I bought a bunch of historical books, and because I'm almost 50, so I bought a bunch of historical books and histories and shit like that. So
You
it was
also bought
fun.
a pretty cool t-shirt.
I did buy a cool T-shirt. I can't remember what the name. It was something. I can't remember the name of the place, but they had really cute T-shirts, and one of the T-shirts said, "I have mixed drinks about your feelings,"
I love
um,
it.
which I was like, "That's pretty clever." So I went to try to buy it, and they're like, "Oh, we only have 3." I was like, "Do you wear small?" I was like, "What do you think?" And she's like, "Well, we have bigger ones if you want to come back." And I was like, "That's fine. Yeah, if you want to, maybe we'll come back." And and then I was like, I didn't care. And then my parents the next day were like, "Are you gonna go back and get that T-shirt?" And I'm like, "If you want to drive me, that's fine." So we did, and we got the shirt. So I also they had a bunch of arcades there where you could win tickets like skee ball or like one of those things. Like kind of like one of them. And the first night when I got there, I was a little drunk, and so were my parents. And I went over and I asked the lady who was working there. I was like, "How do you make the most tickets?" And she was like, "Well, I'll tell you." And then she told me, and then I was like, "How do you know this?" She's like, "I've worked in too many of these things all over this town." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So anyway, I made enough tickets to buy a basketball and 25 balsa wood airplanes with the spinning propeller. So I was quite happy, and I spent $40 to do that. And I also played video games, so that was a big win for me. They had 4 different water parks in this hotel. It was crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And
Yeah,
of
that
course,
That's
sounds like
wild.
my
very similar to like the resort we went to in Orlando. Like it had like arcades everywhere, and like yeah, it was. If you played the system
Sounds
right,
super fun.
like those people are not, they're like they don't care if you're winning. Like so, I think you played it right. Like they're they're
they
not
don't care at all.
they don't care. They don't care. So,
I was like, "Here, I'll buy you a drink. What are you,
yeah,
16? Here, let me get you a drink and tell me how to win the system." I didn't
exactly.
do that.
So
I didn't.
you know to
Not that
next time.
you couldn't prove that I didn't do it. I'm just saying that
That's true. That's true.
for legal
Mm-hmm.
reasons,
You
I did
did
not do
walk
it.
away with 20 balsa airplanes, so I think something
And
shady.
Packers basketball, a Packers
Oh,
female
I
basketball.
did forget the.
Oh yeah, don't forget that part.
And yeah, and we did a concert, but we'll talk about that later. How about you guys? What have you guys been up to?
Smith, where are you at? I mean,
I
we
am
should go with
in
you because you're in
I'm
a secret
home.
location.
I'm home. I'm in Hayes, Kansas. I'm with my brother.
Hey,
My
hi
little
Nathan.
brother. Look at that.
Hi,
Ooh,
Dr.
yeah.
Nate.
Dr. Nate.
Dr. Baby Nathan.
Dr. Nate. For those who
Dr. Baby,
are
yes.
more audibly inclined, there's a lovely photo of my little brother as a toddler in like a sailor's uniform, an outfit. Uh, it's adorable.
Do you have one of those?
Uh,
Did they paint one of you, Matt, or
we do.
they
Oh
were
yeah,
just like,
yeah. Ours is downstairs.
oh, nice.
Yeah. No,
Oh,
I do have I have.
we
So
got to find that.
Yeah, we
I
do.
was 7. I think my sister was 5, and so when I was 7, this was like 1985, and so this is like peak Miami Vice. And so like I went to that. So like even like filtered down to the little boys shops, and yeah, and so I got the very like white and gray stripes. I thought I was the coolest, and I probably was.
So I am so sorry to interrupt and ask, but I can't see any of my audio on. We got a new update to our software. Can you guys see my audio on there?
Yeah, it's coming
Yes.
Little
through.
waves.
Yep.
Okay, great,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I know. Thanks, Zencaster, for the update
Yeah.
that you didn't
Yeah.
tell us about.
It's okay.
So
It's fine.
it's
As long as
fine.
we get
It's fine.
Everything's okay.
Matt, we need a
Hey,
picture of you in that Miami Vice
it
little
would not be the
recreation.
first time that we've spoken for 45 minutes only to realize that it's going nowhere. Not just it
Not
happens
just
sometimes, but it's good to
not,
check in.
not, not just
Uh,
audibly, but metaphorically.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's
So
true.
no,
That's
so
true.
my sister and my new nephew and my brother-in-law were here for like 3 weeks, and so I came up to surprise my mom for her birthday, and so
Aw.
did that. Was able to drive back, and yeah, it's been a really nice trip. Just got to swim with the baby pretty much every day. It's all I've done is eat taco shop, occasionally mix it up with grande, and then swim with the baby. It's been
Sweet.
pretty
You're
great,
living my
pretty great.
dream.
And,
Yeah.
and I just as an aside note, but I did send you guys the pictures of the original grande, which I have to say this is the first time that a billboard has caused me to do something within an hour of seeing it. So I'm not usually one of those people like but I was like, holy crap! I was like, did I see what I thought I saw? And then I saw another one, and I was like, I did. And so I was like, well, the original grande, I guess, just means the original big. So I'm hoping that it's associated, but and sure
Yeah.
enough, it was like a taco grande restaurant that like looked like it was the Adobe kind of shape. Do you guys remember that? Like it was kind of
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
and it was an old school. Probably had not been painted since it shut down in the mid '90s or whatever. But they had all like really awesome new signage and like a digital board out front. So like all the signage was great, but it was still this really shitty, crappy old building that wasn't painted. So, but anyway, and there were like giant potholes. But anyway, it is Taco Grande. So I don't know if there's
Wow.
a war going. Uh-oh.
Now I did
Oh.
when I was driving back from Joaquin near Hayes or whatever. I did see those billboards because they have them both ways, right? But it says the original grande. So I looked it up and I was like, is it the real thing? And then I got the sense from the website that it wasn't. But you're saying it is. It's the same thing.
It's the same stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, yeah. So like I got two things to judge this by. I got a combo burrito and a hard shell taco, which I ate on the road, and that is brave right there to eat a hard shell taco on
That
the
is
road.
very brave. Yeah. Wow. Well done.
You gotta
It's
pre-sauce that
impressive.
shit. You gotta pre-sauce that shit.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're
Oh,
looking
yeah,
at a
you
fender
do.
bender. And
Yep.
so, and they did the same exact thing. A like paper thin slice of tomato, like Taco Grandes had the same tomato for like 40 years. They just thinner and thinner and thinner. Tiny, it's exactly the same stuff.
I like when it's
Exactly the same
totally
stuff.
translucent. You're like, I can't even tell if the
You know,
tomato's
it's
on
great.
there,
I
but
don't like
yeah.
tomatoes, but it's just reminds you of a tomato, but like you don't taste anything. So I appreciate the effort. So yeah. And the sauce was the same. I got the extra hot sauce, and it was
Oh,
the
nice. Okay.
peppery goodness that it always has been. So yeah, so interesting. A little overpriced.
Oh,
Little
no shit.
family, but
Whatever.
You
Yeah.
got to pay for the signage.
That's true. It is a
Inflation.
pretty sweet
Yeah.
sign, I got to tell you.
And a bunch of signs on the internet.
Yeah, they got pictures of those billboards. so yeah, I ate at Original Grande, and did we just?
Oh, I think he's just blowing his nose.
Oh, okay. Oh, good. Okay, we're figuring this out. It's like when we see Tyson disappear, not sure he's going to come back every time.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, rightfully so. I mean, look at this new Zencaster dashboard. So anything could happen, everybody.
So was your mom surprised? Was she?
She was. Yeah, I followed my little brother always heads over here for dinner, and so and before he goes to work, and so I just followed him in. He just walked, and my mom was standing right there, and she learned I was there by my hair. She saw my hair poking above the the window light in the door, and so So anyway, but that gave it away. My hair gave it away, but yeah, she was surprised.
It's like the pirate flag of Matt Smith.
Exactly.
You just see it waving in the air.
It really is. It's amazing. That's awesome.
So, yeah, it's been good. It's been really hot. So,
Dawson,
that's what they've been saying.
Have you been doing anything? No, you've been working a lot.
I've been working a lot. Yeah. Stress eating. I've been doing that. That's been fun. I found some really good gluten-free chocolate chip cookies if anybody wants to know. I'll take a picture of them if you're stressed out and wanting to overeat. This will help you at 11:30 p.m. at night when you're freaking out about meetings the next day. So I really recommend.
I had a gummy last night, and then I was thinking about, and I was hungry, so I was eating, and I was like, you know that book, Eat, Love, Pray? It was also a movie, Eat, Love, Pray. And I was like, my personal.
Julia
version,
Roberts in that? Or
maybe, I don't know.
I'm gonna ask the producers.
But I thought of my personal, like, that was my, it's supposed to be a mantra: eat, love, pray. And my mantra, pre-Beth would be eat, eat, eat.
I love it. That's definitely actually my mantra has been eat, work out, then eat, then feel bad about myself. Because I ruined everything I had done the day before. So that's been the cycle I've been in for the past couple weeks, but it's fine. Jonas has been sick, so we've been kind of laying low. He does not have the vid, but he has had a weird sort of, I don't know, sinusy infection. So, yeah.
Well, like I said, my sister got the vid, and then her kid got the vid. And then, but these booster shots should be available Tuesday. So
everybody getting that boosty? Yeah.
Everyone should.
Yeah.
It's for 4 and 5, so that's good.
Okay. I will get it then.
Yeah.
If Beth says I should get it, I'll get it. That's how I'm
I wouldn't endorse it without I was going to say Postmaster General Beth, but I was going to say Surgeon General Beth. I wouldn't say
Surgeon General Beth. I love that. That's a keeper.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I've been up to. Things are going to get crazy here in the next couple of days. My sister, my brother, and my sister's best friend are visiting the Lafayette, Colorado area tomorrow. So, God, tomorrow's Friday. That's how this week has been. Kitty. Oh, Tyson. Tyson is kind of like Dr. Doolittle. He's got, I don't know, 3 or 4 animals around him. There were some dogs barking in the background.
There's a cat. I'm just describing the cat seems to be interested in what Tyson's doing now. He's gonna.
The cat definitely seemed to go after the very expensive thing Tyson just bought. I don't know.
Let's see.
Tyson should have put his headphones on the cat.
Oh, he has gone down. Left. He is on his way.
Yeah. I like the play-by-play.
No,
it's hilarious. Tyson's reprimanding someone.
Yeah, he probably is. How many animals are there? Are potential? Oh, there he is. There's 1, 2, 3. Oh no, that's a tail.
That's a cat tail, though. There's definitely 3.
Okay. Wow, at least 3 animals.
Yeah.
Treats for 2.
Mm-hmm.
And he's back.
And he's back. He's back in
Wow.
action.
Did you feel like you were there, audience? Did you feel it?
I
Never
think they
miss a
did.
beat.
Never.
All
Doing
right,
it
everybody.
live.
Here we go.
Oh, hello.
Here's my
Hey,
family.
it's dog
doggy.
vision.
Dogs, cats, fucking everywhere.
Posters.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
What a world. I like it.
What a world! What a world.
Oh,
Yeah.
Are you guys ready for some headlines?
I think
Perhaps?
so. I think so.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, let's do it.
Jesus Christ! It's already been 25 minutes.
Headline of the week.
I'll go. We have lots. Sorry, I pared them down, but it's been a busy 2 weeks.
That's why I wanted to get it done or going rather.
So so let's just talk a little bit about the documents found in Trump's basement.
Yes, let's.
So whoops. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, when they released that photo of all the classified stuff, and it was just the cover
so
sheets.
funny.
It was, and
Oh
all
my
the little
God.
frame photos. He frames all his photos when he's on Time magazine. He frames those photos, good or bad. He frames it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know how many of his personal lawyers are going to have to go to jail because of the shit they said in some of these court filings.
Sounds like a few, Tyson.
Yes, it does. It does sound like a couple. And now his latest thing. Well, he's been through a litany of things. They broke into my house. They went through my wife's clothes. First off, ooh, but whatever. You gotta check. And then he's like, oh, we didn't have any. We gave them all away. We worked with them. Oh, it turns out we hid some, but that's okay. And now his latest thing, he's like, of course I had secret documents. I'm the president. And then everybody that else worked in government is like, no. Like I read some guy out of USA Today, and he was like, he used to work as a assistant to the head of some security unit in the White House, and he was like, yeah, the funny thing is, if I would have taken one of those home, I'd be in prison right now. It wouldn't take 2 years for them to fucking find me.
Yep.
But whatever. He did have a meltdown this week. That
was great.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was super funny.
Yeah.
I thought we maybe had heard
how many days after the election is it? Like 300 and something after Biden became president, and he is demanding that he be reinstated immediately, or
yeah.
The reinstating immediately.
Reinstated immediately. So the people on Truth Social got right to work on that. And then he said and he tweeted he did 40 or 50 tweets, and he was forwarding QAnon shit, and he did just
it's bizarro.
I think what is so funny about this is that they gave him, and this is ultimately why he will be, prosecuted, is that they gave him every out in the world. They said, hey, we want to hand it. They didn't have to do that. So this most corrupt Justice Department ever, shut up. You're just anybody who said anything about the Hillary email Clintons, you don't get to participate for a decade now. Okay, for a decade,
Nope.
You don't get to say anything for a decade, because I just want you to remember what you were worried about there. And oh man, it's so it's going to be interesting. It was a little. Did you hear the thing a couple days ago about that they're possibly going to wait until after the November election? They're talking about,
I didn't hear that.
Which I don't know. I mean, again, I'm sure they're worried that it's going to look political, but then November 4th doesn't. I mean, so I don't know what the Justice Department's going to do its thing. It's going to be about 2 months behind the rest of us, and we'll just kind of have to learn to live with that, I guess. So
yeah.
But,
I don't know, right? I mean, I don't even know why they'd wait. First off, every time he fires something back at the Justice Department comes back and has a bigger fuck you to him than
That's true.
he's ready for. It's and then they put a picture up, and then they're like, he's like, oh, I thought these were classified, and I'm like, but you said you didn't have any classified. What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, I think that's been the most interesting thing. Although it appears that Biden's had enough of this nonsense, and he's starting to.
Yeah, so
He's
there's
having
I
a
don't know
The
what time it is
malarkey.
tonight,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a little fireside chat with the the Democrats and the hillbilly fascists. Like, so we'll see how that goes. I'm sure he'll win us over.
People get so
You
mad.
made my gas high,
They do.
man. Ugh.
That's great. I did see a hat when I was waiting in line for the Ducks, of all things, in Wisconsin, and the hat said, and it actually made me laugh because I was like, "That's actually the most honest thing that I've ever seen." It just said, "I miss the cheap gas and the mean tweets," and that was what he said. That's what
And
the hat
that's what
said.
it said.
I
All
was like,
right. At least
"That's
they're being
that's
honest.
yeah. I mean, that's not bad. I mean, it's not like it's not too bad." Then I sat behind him for the fucking ride, and then it was like, "Oh boy."
This is
Um,
scary. Yeah.
yeah, well, one of my headlines. Well, I'll just get to it right now. Actually, is Fox put this headline out. I thought it was interesting. NBC poll finds a whopping 62% of college Democrats would never room with Trump voters, and so they kind of wrote this up as Mediate.com reported in the new NBC News Generation Lab poll Saturday, noting that the surveyed the class of 2025 and revealed that Democrats in that group really um, shun people who voted for former President Donald Trump, like a lot. And then they said, again, 62% of Democrats said that. And only 28% of Republicans said they would probably or definitely refuse a Biden voter. So, having read that just after my boat ride with these Trumper humpers that were in front of me, I was like, to be fair, there's a decent chance. I mean, there's a 50% chance, maybe it's less than that, that your roommate might be a complete fucking asshole. So why would you? I mean, why would you want to room with him? I mean, like honestly,
Yeah.
like how long do you think an 18-year-old could keep his political views silent, just keeping the peace in a household?
Not very
You know,
long. Yeah.
not very long
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
So I mean,
You
Fox
know,
News tried to frame it, but I was like, come on.
well, I almost read into that a little bit too, that it's suggesting that maybe maybe all the Trump support is really more fandom, although they don't realize how incredibly fucking dangerous it is. Maybe it's more just like fandom, and they really personally don't really give a shit day to day mostly. You know what I mean? Like they basically just like
No,
they don't give it the mentality that maybe I think most self-described liberals would be like, absolutely, I'm paying attention to the news and I'm talking about it and I'm spreading information. I think there's maybe just a huge disbalance there as well, but I
I
didn't
don't
get
like these toilets that don't flush very good. You know, I mean, honestly, you're right.
Yeah. True.
It's a thing. My dad loves them. I love them. I bought the Trump shirt and the hat and the flag. And it was just like, uh, yeah. I mean, so I don't. Yeah, I think they're just fans. They don't care about what happens in the country because they've not. Nothing happens to them. They're like white rural voters. Like nothing really
Right.
bad happens to them.
right.
They don't get to see people, or they choose not to see people in squalor, or, like immigrants being kicked out of the country because they live in Virginia, for fuck's sake, or
Yeah.
Wisconsin or whatever. They don't care.
Yep.
But they're goddamn it, they're
Yeah.
To
still
a
tough
certain
on
extent.
crime though. Like they're real tough on crime.
Yeah.
Like they, oh boy, oh yeah,
Yeah. Unless you want a gun, that's fine. Guns are fine.
right, exactly. And they need to be well armed. Right, right.
Yes. Yes. It's the American way.
It is
God.
the American way.
Any more thoughts on this before I move on to my next stupid thing?
No, I did just want to say, and I already texted this to you guys, but speaking of Trumpers, one of our friends, they live next to one, and they had a mini meltdown in their backyard that I thought was pretty funny. And I'm pretty sure it was after one of Biden's speeches, now that I think about it, with the
Okay, that makes
timing.
a little more sense in context. Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently, our friend Paul went out on his back porch because he was pulling carpet, taking a break, and his crazy Trumper humper neighbor just was on her back porch, and she started yelling at the sky, "Fuck you, Joe Biden! Suck my dick!" And then walked back in the house and slammed the door.
Oh,
And then Paul was laughing, like I think he had his head in his shirt and was laughing so hard he had to like bolt inside. So that's where we're at right now, Trumper humpers. I feel for you.
They're
Yeah, it's tough.
frustrated, you know.
It's they're
They, you
melting
know,
down
I mean,
along
because
with their
I really do believe that
king.
a lot of people got conned by this guy, and if there's one thing people don't like to fess up to, is that they got conned.
It's getting fooled. That's right.
Absolutely, and so you will push that,
Yeah.
and I think we're really close to it, getting to that cliff where, yeah, I mean, so it's going to take
I
a little
feel
bit,
it
but I think
too.
we're getting
Yeah.
close. So, is
The
that
whole
Yeah.
optimism?
timeshare thing is kind of well, kind of. I mean, the whole timeshare thing is the same deal. And people get conned by timeshares all the time, but they will defend it to their death and be like, "It's a good deal. I don't care." Like it was like I can go anywhere I want 3 times a year. It only costs me, it doesn't matter what it costs me. I can go anywhere as long as I book, 26 months in advance. I can go anywhere I want. And
Uh-huh.
that's a tough one.
Yeah,
So it
I
is
like
hard. It is
traveling.
hard to
I
admit
like
that you got
traveling with my
fooled.
parents, so I'm not going to add anything to this discussion.
Well, they no. I mean, my parents know it. They tell me they're
Oh
handing
no,
the
I know.
timeshare down to me and my sister, and they're like, "Good luck." And
No, no, no.
then they're like,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and they're like, on that day that you get this handed to you, it'll be your problem, and we decide when it's your problem. And I was like, and he was like, "But you can sell it." And then but that's how you're like, "Will you sell it?" Then you've lost all this equity that you have and all this non. Anyway, whatever. I'm not here. This is not that. Anyway. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for taking me to the Wisconsin Dells on a timeshare. I appreciate it.
That was some good parenting there, Rick and Vita. Way to go.
They were great. They were great. They were great. We also kind of work at the same level. I'm 47 years old. My parents are older than me, oddly. But and then we all are up for about 4 hours of activity every day. It worked perfectly. I was like, man, I'm slipping right into that age thing.
Yep.
Next
Getting
headline.
real comfy with that.
Next headline. Matt sent to me. Dan Harmon confirms Community movie existence and initial timeline. Which
Yay.
he doesn't really talk about the timeline. He says whenever everyone can get together to film it. So, but that's okay. But
that's all right.
if you're
Still in the works.
it's
That's
still in
good.
the works. If you're friends of a Community, you know that their thing was 6 seasons and a movie. And so I have no idea what the movie is, but I have faith that it'll be entertaining.
Yeah.
Woman regains sight after going blind as teen. Says husband is, quote, more handsome than I could ever have imagined. I had already built a connection with him. This is a quote from her. That it didn't matter what he looked like, but it was very nice to probably see his face after all this time. And I've got a picture of him. He is a handsome young man, and she's a handsome young lady. And but what else are you gonna say? Like, oh shit, I made a mistake. I mean, what are you? I mean, oh no, I married the elephant man. Like that's just not gonna happen. So I thought that was kind of like, what else is she gonna say? That's a people
Yeah,
magazine.
right. Oh, the hot gossip Tice is back.
That's right. Washington man held hostage, robbed at gunpoint in order to undress on first date gone wrong. Oof.
Oh.
So this man, 30-year-old man who was in Washington State, unidentified, met this woman on what's the fish one called? Extra,
Oh.
so many fish or too many fish or
Petal
like
of fish. I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
Like
it's
there's so many things. Who cares?
anyway, lots
Something
of
of fish. Yeah.
So
All the fish.
dude drove over to her house, and he said he entered her apartment for about 5 minutes when another man, identified later as 22-year-old John Michael Anthony Jeter III, appeared and pointed a gun at him, ordered him the victim to take off his clothes. Jeter then told the victim to give him money, while the woman, later identified as 19-year-old Hayden Murray, doesn't matter, took a picture of the nude man. Then they said, you need to transfer $6,000 to us right now. Of course, none of the transfers work because it seems pretty sketch that you would send $6,000 from your accounts or your parents' accounts, which is what they asked, to somebody you don't know. These were all flagged, obviously. They got mad. They eventually took pictures of themselves over the naked man, which was not good, really. If you're trying to. Anyway, when they finally let him go, and after 3 hours, They let him get clothes on, and he left and went to the police. And so they picked him up these people up the next day. But so be careful out there, people. So just saying. Let's see.
Watch your butts.
Watch your butts. So I've been following the story by myself for a long time, but I think it's interesting. Phil Collins used to be married to a complete and total nightmare. I don't know if you guys knew about this.
I think I did. Who was that?
So when I started to see the story, it was that he owned a house in Miami or somewhere in Florida, Palm Springs maybe, and not Palm Springs, Palm Beach, and she wouldn't leave the house so he could sell the house. She was like, she just set up eminent domain or whatever, and she wouldn't leave the house so he couldn't sell the house. Anyway, so he's been trying forever to get her out of the house. She claimed $20 million. He owed him. She said that he moved back into the house with her after they had a separation, that he would split the house with her. Blah, 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 blah. Finally, this week, a judge said enough is enough and shut down the rest of the case. But I bring this up because I thought this quote was hilarious in the story. So in October of 2020, Collins sued Carrie, accusing her of refusing to vacate their property. His claim referred to it at the time as an armed occupation and takeover. There then followed reports of the woman putting up many of Collins' possessions for auction, like a gold Robert Plant record, 1983's The Principle of Moments, to be specific, on which Collins played drums on a few tracks. This is my favorite part. The item, quote, no longer sparked joy for her, a rep said in January 2021. That was the reason she sold it.
I like that. That's funny.
Yeah, what a bitch. Anyway, okay, this is from Fox News. Jason Aldean, he's a country singer, in case you don't know.
Thank you.
Jason Aldean's wife responds to, quote, tomboy phase backlash online. Thanks parents for not changing her gender. Okay, I'm going to break this down a little bit. So she's saying,
oh my God.
She's saying that she never asked to have her gender changed, but she thanks her parents for not forcing it on her, because that's how it goes, right? Like most parents want their children to have their gender changed. So anyway, she came out with a press release about that, saying, thank you, Mom and Dad, for not making me have a gender change when I was in a tomboy phase, i.e. before I got my tits, I assume. So you can find this on Fox News. Feel free to look it up.
I was just going to ask, where can we read this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
That makes sense. Jesus, Fox.
She received more than 137,000 likes on her post, including comments from Laura Trump, John Party's wife Summer, and her husband. I don't know. Those are probably country western people.
Good for her. Yay.
So like the 8th most important Trump and somebody we don't know. Yeah, good.
That's right.
Good.
And then finally, Representative Lauren Boebert accuses Biden of taking America's money to fund degrees in, quote, lesbian dance theory. This was over the Colorado Republican also took aim at the president's recent comments about MAGA Republicans. So I don't know what's going on with her, but I never know what's going on with her, to be fair.
Nobody does. I mean.
So anyway. So those are my headlines for this week, and I kind of busted through them, but we have a lot, so I'm gonna yield the floor.
That was a lot. That was good, though.
That was good.
Smith, hit us.
Sure. All right. So I'm gonna, fair warning.
Sure.
It's the internet's a little slow here.
We all have to brace ourselves before we dive in.
All right. Now I know.
It's like a cascade of sadness, really.
Yeah.
It really is. Now, well, it's a lot of stuff. I mean, just lots of crazy big stuff. But here's just kind of the asides, the coleslaw, if you will, of the week. So Shaq revisits his theory that the Earth is not flat. So Shaquille O'Neal is doubling down on his controversial theory about planet Earth. Just follow the words as I read them. It's a theory. It's just a theory. They teach us lots of things. Okay, that's his first statement, period. I flew 20 hours today. Not once did I go this way, he explained, moving his arm in a diagonal rotational. He added that he did not tip over or go upside down, which he believes would happen if the Earth was round. These are the same theories that they were like sort of believed in, I don't know, like 8 centuries ago. So Jeff Shuck's a very tall man. He's a very good basketball player.
He is.
Very good basketball player. But yeah, so I don't know why this. Yeah, I don't know why this just. I mean, obviously, if you say that, you're going to get an article
Well,
written about it. So like, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, he's on the board of several big companies, like Papa John's comes to mind, for example. So I mean,
Oh
what does he
yeah.
think would happen if? Okay, let's say you're flying, right, and then the Earth is flat, and then you go around the other side of the Earth, the flat side. Wouldn't you then turn upside down, right, and then come back
Uh-huh.
around,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I
I
think
mean, it's
yeah.
just a theory. They teach us lots of theories.
They do
But
teach us lots of theories. Yeah, it's just a theory. Yeah. So yeah, just kind of a toss away one, but
he's
here's a
shy.
little more serious one. Polio is back. Here's what to do about it. So yeah, polio is back, everybody. Remember we used
Hey,
to,
In New
everybody
York
used to,
State, right?
vaccinated.
yeah, oh yeah. So I'm not going to read it. It's a very boring, long article, but yeah, polio's back, and it just goes into talking about like how the example of pro-vaccine has been. Hey, we eradicated polio 30 years ago, and now I guess the anti-vaxxers have won finally. So polio's back. I don't know what else have we got to look
But
forward
it's a,
to.
it's a.
What other old school
I mean,
diseases?
Oh, the plague is definitely coming back. But
Plague.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely, a plague. Yeah.
I mean, aren't the people getting polo? Aren't polio? People getting polio? Aren't they kids? Isn't that what I read? Like the ones
Yes,
that
they
didn't get
are.
vaxxed? Isn't that what's
Yeah,
happening?
the
Yeah. So it's not
oh, what
really.
was the
So did they
yeah.
win the anti-vaxxers?
Well, they didn't really win. They just, I guess they brought polio back. So I mean, maybe it's like scoring on yourself, kind of like because they're not that bright, so they're like, yay! But it's kind of like a youth soccer game. That's how I see anti-vaxxers.
I talked to a man. I talked to a man with polio one time, and there's nothing like and it was over the phone, and he dropped that, and there's nothing you can do to come back. You're like,
Oh
okay, like what do you say?
no,
Sorry, because they get it when they're like 6 or 8.
When they're
no,
And this guy was
no.
like in his 90s, and he was calling DirecTV because his TV wasn't working, and
I
then he
mean,
just
even if Dyson releases a really cool looking iron lung, like polio is not cool. Like it's just not. So it's just not.
not.
Stay away from polio, kids. It's bad stuff. Does not make you presidential.
Have I
polio
ever
is
told
not cool.
Have I
And
ever told you that story about that
the
polio guy? I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm never going to tell this
no,
story.
no, no. Go
Have I
ahead.
told you the story about the guy I talked to who had polio?
Anybody that you
I don't think
internally
so.
reference as
It was
polio
I,
guy, there's a good story there. So
Yeah, we definitely haven't heard that.
I was working at a call center for DirecTV, and the guy called me, chipper as could be, nicest old man I'd talked to in a long time. And most
Uh-huh.
of the people that call DirecTV are not happy at all. Um, but he was like, "Hey, I can't get my remote to work," and I'm like, "Okay." So I was like, "Do this, do this, do this." He's like, "Okay," and he did that. He's like, "It's not working." I'm like, "Do this, do this, do this," and he's like, "It's still not working." I'm like, "Are you laying down, or is there anything in the way between you and TV?" He's like, "Yeah, I have polio, so I can't sit up." Okay. Uh, I was like, all right, well, I was like, are your feet in the way of the TV? And he goes, I guess. I was like, hey, do me a favor, lift your hand up and use your remote over your feet. Silence. Hey, that worked.
Yeah,
I
I think I have heard this. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
was like, that's great. I was like, I'm so happy I can help you. And then he goes, hey, since I got you on the phone, you want to get me one of them nudie channels on here? And I'm like, sure, what do you want to watch? And he's like,
I said, God damn it.
I was like, I said, what do you want? He's like, well, what do you got? And I'm like, well, so I'm going through my computer. I'm like, well, it looks like, orgy hot tubs on, whatever. I'm just reading off the stuff. And he goes, you got anything with like 2 girls? And I'm like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I can't see it. And he's like, well, just turn on one of them. I turn on one. He's like, oh, there's 2 girls. I like that. And
Oh my god.
and he goes, I don't like it when a guy comes in there. He's like, I just like it when girls are in there. And I was like, okay, well, I really should go. He's like, oh, there's a guy in here. I'm like, I gotta go, buddy. It was really nice talking to you.
Yeah.
It's been an hour
Anytime.
on the phone.
Oh, good
I'm
lord.
failing all of my checks on getting somebody off the phone in 7 minutes right now because we've been talking an hour. But anyway, polio. That's what I think about all the time.
Polio.
Didn't like it
Polio.
when the guys came in.
Just a couple quick ones.
Oh, man.
Why are people so
Sorry.
mean?
Sorry.
Why are people so mean, guys?
Why are people so mean?
Yes, I was hoping someone would. Yeah, why are people
I
so
almost
mean?
forgot about it, but former president, 45, Donald J. Trump, a couple days ago, just posted on Truth Social, why are people so mean? I don't know, Donald. I don't know. But,
That was a real truth.
yeah, I just.
That's what they call it, right? Not a tweet, a truth.
Yeah. I don't know what a truth. Yes, and then you retruth. Yes. Yeah. So, and apparently you retruth, and apparently just FYI, I do still have the Don Jr.'s Coke dealer account, and I think they left it. Like I don't know that it's being moderated because I was trying to get kicked off and it's not happening. So I don't know if I know they're having financial trouble.
Shit.
So, and somebody tweeted a picture of the offices the other day that they were completely empty.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't think anyone's like, emceeing this shit show. So except for the big man himself. So yeah, should be fun. And just one little just kind of punch is at the end is I just had the headline, but it was from the Daily Beast. It said, and this is actually very true, is Donald Trump's legacy will be idiots running for office. And if you really think about hopefully the long-term impacts of what that's absolutely true is you're just going to have these complete batshit crazy, and it's so sit tight, folks. Politics still going to be interesting even after everyone's gone, including us.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
I will say that Matt one time predicted he had a dream or something, and he was telling me he said like in 50 or 60 years. People might think that the Offspring was the best band of our generation because they always had a hit. And they kept having hits for like 20 years, which is true. And it's like,
true.
That's
yeah,
so
well,
sad,
they did the 9 Inch Nails move, like, release an album every 5 to 7 years, and that's just long enough to be, hey, I like those guys, and they didn't get sick of them. It's such a good move, you can do it. So, yeah. Those guys are like probably in their like 60s now, aren't they? They got to be up there. Like,
yeah, I think it's. I actually looked it up the other day. It's like two of the original guys, and then they have this drummer Josh Freese, who's like a go-to guy from the Vandals and all this stuff, and then everything else is studio musicians. So it's like they write, beat with a bat or whatever.
Quick
it's
aside,
so catchy that they'll play at ballparks.
I learned why the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones broke up. It's because, and I'm forgetting the name, the main guy wouldn't get vaccinated, so the band broke up.
Mark McGrath?
No, not Mark McGrath. The Mighty Mark McGrath. Oh, that's mean.
The Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. Sorry. Yeah, the singer from the Mighty Mighty. That was mean. Sorry, everybody about the Boss Tones.
That was mean. I mean, he's just a crazy anti-vaxxer. There's no reason to go calling him Mark McGrath. But yeah. So,
Why is everybody so mean, Matt?
Why is everybody so mean?
Why?
Broke up because he wouldn't. So did they officially break up finally?
Yeah,
but they'll be back next year
because he apparently found some like-minded individuals as a backup band. So maybe we're gonna get all these like anti-vax super groups. Maybe like it's gonna be it's next few months. I like it. So Dickie, that's his name. I think his name's Dickie something.
Dickie, yeah. Dickie Betts. No, that's
Dickie Betts.
That guy plays with Dickie Betts plays with I believe he plays with Allman Brothers. Sorry, he's different. Dickie. He's a different Dickie.
Different Dickie. So many Dickies.
What?
Wow, that's
all I got.
That's
I didn't
know that.
That's it. Yeah. What a random couple of weeks. That's it. I'm done.
It has been random. My shit is so random, guys. Like, I apologize. It is literally like all over the place. Like my playlist that I kept playing at work this week, and people were like, "Holy shit!" Okay. So my first one is Kanye West slammed for selling new Yeezy Gap collection out of trash bags. So I don't know if anyone has seen the pictures of Yeezy's Gap collection, which first of all, I'm like, anybody who knows anything about Kanye West's bullshit fashion line, everything is overpriced. It's insane and it shouldn't be. It looks like trash with shoelaces.
Hit,
Honestly, because
hit
he
the
has a
bag.
fascination with homeless people. Like it's a legit thing. So that's, I mean, he basically walked into a Gap in New York and was like, these aren't supposed to be on hangers. They're supposed to be in these, and brought these giant, like essentially trash bags because
Wow.
he wants people to rummage through them. And each item is like insanely priced. It's one of the dumbest things. Like people, I mean, some of the tweets are just freaking hilarious.
I don't know
They're like,
if
can
you
someone tell Kanye that what Smith?
Oh no, sorry. I think we got a delay. I think it's God's front. No, I was just going to say that if you've been to a Gap recently, you'll actually just realize that's the model they're all moving towards is just random people digging through like that's where they're headed anyway. So it really was just Kanye sort of following corporate. But sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
I mean, right? And I was actually kind of surprised that Gap's still around. I thought that like that ship had sailed, but you know, whatever.
No, that's the Old Navy.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, that's right. The Old
brass
Navy.
buckle. He's with the brass buckle now. I heard, but that's
He's with
The brass buckle. Oh my god, that just brought me back.
They're still around.
It's just all bad. And like one of the tweets was like, no homeless dude is buying $200 Yeezys. And like Kanye still just doesn't get the hint that homeless people can't afford things like fashion. So that's a whole other subject. But anyway, I found that to be kind of funny. And then another headline, everybody knows I love Kill Bill, I feel like at this point with the show. But Variety had a fun little article about Michelle Yeoh talking about how she approached Quentin Tarantino, basically saying like, "Hey, why the hell didn't you cast me in Kill Bill? Like,
Fair enough.
I would have been fucking perfect."
Yeah.
And Tarantino's response to that was, literally nobody would believe that Uma Thurman could kick your ass. And so they had like this whole conversation. The article's pretty fun. I'm a huge Michelle Yeoh fan. Like Everything Everywhere All at Once is one of the best movies ever made. Like
It's quite
beyond just the multiverse thing, but
Yeah.
it's pretty cute. So I would recommend checking that out. And then there's a Pitchfork article that came out about a band that we're going to see in September, Pavement. Did you guys see this? It's called We Tried the Pavement Pierogi. And basically what it's about, I know.
Yeah.
At first I was like, what the fuck? And then they had a picture of pierogies that this woman in her shop made, which I'll explain better, of all of the different Pavement album covers. Like, shit you not. So funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah, basically it's from a place in Cleveland, like the suburbs of Cleveland. And the owner of this shop, her name's like Lydia Trempy, and she is a giant Pavement fan. Like there's a whole thing about how she faked going to prom or like homecoming when she was a kid and actually went to a Pavement show instead. And so like already I'm like, fuck yeah, girl. So they did like this I guess like now she owns this whatever bakery strudel shop in Parma, Ohio. And she sold a bunch of fucking pierogies for this benefit they were putting on. And Bob from Pavement showed up and like it's like this whole thing. It's again very cute, very heartwarming. I'm staying away from the politics stuff, clearly. But if you like Pavement like we do, check out that article. It's very fun. And then I'm going to end with something that Tyson said. His reaction to this article was very funny, which I'll get to. But these identical twins married identical twins, and now they have sons. Did you guys see this? Like, I know you guys did, but like everybody who listens to the show this is one of the like weirdest stories I've seen in a while. But these women, these identical twins, they go to like, I'm going to call it an identical twins fair, but it's like a festival. And they met
Fair.
their but they met their husbands,
Meet and
I
greet.
guess there. Yeah, meet and greet. Oh, hey. And it had always been their dream to marry identical
twins. I feel like it's a weird thing in the twin community. I feel either you're one way or the other. You don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's weird. So then they met these guys who were just as weird as them who wanted to marry identical twins. So anyway, this happens. Like they're dating them for a year. They get married. They fucking live in the same house, which is bizarro. And then like one of them had a son, and then the other one had a boy too 5 months later. And then I guess because they're like whatever, because the genetics are so similar, what do they call them? The marriage itself is called like a quaternary marriage, and then these twins are now like essentially like siblings. It's so bizarro. And then Tyson, what did you say? I don't want to mess this part up.
I don't remember.
He was like, all he wrote was Nazi fever dream in response to me putting it in our group chat. And it is like there's this picture in the Washington Post of this family, and I'm like, holy fuck, it was.
Yeah.
Hitler's rolling around like, God damn it.
It just says, welcome to Utah. When I see that photo, it's welcome to Utah.
It is weird because they stage them, so you see both couples and the kids, and they all kind of stage down in the same way, and it's like, well, that's creepy as shit.
It's like one of those mirror tricks.
It's
real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I wonder, like that's the whole thing. I was like, I know that this would be grossly offensive to. I'm not even gonna say it. Never mind.
No, say it.
No. It's gonna be grossly offensive to Nazis.
Do it.
That's
be
not
grossly offensive. Okay.
Well, there's this there's this old Family Guy. They do these interstitials where they do jokes, and it's two twins, and they never knew they were twins, and they find each other on the street, and they're like, "Oh my god, we're like basically twins," and they're like, "Oh wow," and they both look at each other, and one of the guys goes, "Swap wives for," or how do you say? He's like, "You want to swap wives for one night?" And he's like, "Yes, definitely." So like, so I always think about two identical twins married two other identical twins. All the little interplay between all of that is quite distressing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. But anyway, you never know. Like, what kind of weird role play? I mean, twins that marry twins, and then they have their own little baby twin, or that is actually a cousin at that point, right? Because they look exactly the same genetically.
They look exactly, but genetically, they're
cousins.
more. They're closer to siblings than cousins because of the genetic makeup. And when you see the two boys, you're like, holy shit, that is that. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like an experiment. It's complete experiment. Yeah, like
yeah. It's frightening. It's not cute whatsoever. And twins creep me out. Identical twins creep me out in general. Sorry to twins, but it's like next level.
There goes that demographic.
Yeah, I had nightmares about it. So yeah. I still love you. I just don't want to see you. No, I'm joking. I'll meet you. Shake your hand.
I'll meet you. That's fine. I'm cool.
Yeah. It's right up there with dolls for me, honestly. But anyway.
Twins are good. What are the two Sklar brothers, the comedians that are twins that perform together? They're great. I don't know if you've seen them.
Yeah, those guys are great.
They do a really funny bit where they're like talking about an old Super Bowl commercial where it's like, I like big wins, something, and twins, and they're like, that's the problem we get to, because if you're scoring with two twins, that is technically incest for those two twins that are having sex with you at the same time. He's like, so there's a lot of problems with this Super Bowl commercial we have. I think it was a Doritos commercial, but. The more you know.
The more you know.
Why are people so mean, Dawson?
Why are people so mean? God. There's somebody would answer that.
That's just like the default thing
let's
everybody
says. Let's wonder that
says
while we get into plugs.
Yeah.
We're just gonna have a think on it while we get
All
into
right.
plugs. All right.
Let's do some
Here we go.
plugs.
You, the ice cream manufacturer. You, the frozen food distributor. And you, the food retailer. Stand today in the midst of a selling revolution. For today, you're in a merchandising era of self-service, where display and accessibility are the key to successful merchandising. Yes, today's problem is merchandising. To sell in high volume for high profits, frozen products are impulse items. And impulse buying is primarily an emotional decision.
Plugs.
I want to go last, so you guys go. Yeah.
Well, I'll go first because I have very few plugs this week. I have very few plugs this week.
All right.
Because I haven't watched a whole lot, but I did catch a couple nights ago. I caught a couple episodes of something I'd not planned on watching, but A League of Their Own, the TV series, and it's pretty good. It's got an excellent cast. It's quite good. It's quite good. Pretty cute. I do recommend it. Lots of good people in it. Their names escape me at the moment.
Now, Dawson, have you watched any more, Dawson, or not?
I did, and I know I told you guys I was a little put off by the first 2 episodes, but I actually ended up really liking it. I think it just took me a minute to get into it. So yeah. Also, there's a fun. I don't think I'm ruining anything. Smith, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Rosie O'Donnell makes an appearance, a little guest spot that I really liked. So,
I don't know that I've gotten there yet. That's fun. I'm excited to see Rosie.
Well, shit. Hey, spoiler! Fuck! God damn it! I am my mother's daughter. My mom constantly texts me. She's like, "Jess, I don't give a shit about the spoilers," and then just goes into a spoil, and I'm like,
"That's more of just
that." So there you go, Mom. Yeah,
it's more of just an alert than a spoiler alert, I think. But no, that was I liked the first couple episodes, and that's pretty much all I watched. So check it out. Books.
Cool. Yeah. That's it. That's
awesome.
all your plugs?
Yeah, that's it.
You've been busy.
I've been changing diapers.
Smith has been living my dream of just floating in a pool and eating taco shop.
My goal when I got here was basically
hanging out with
live the first 15 minutes of The Graduate, where I was just gonna do nothing, be nothing, and just lay by the pool. So it's what I aspired to do. So
that's awesome. I'm jealous, obviously. All right, I got a couple, and I think I have an unplug. Yes, I do. Okay, there's a new movie for rent called Brian and Charles, directed by Jim Archer, and it's a very I would say at first I was like, holy shit, was this directed by Taika Waititi? Because it kind of has that same sort of weird New Zealand humor rhythm to it. But no, it's just a British comedy with that sort of rhythm. So if you like Taika Waititi and those sort of movies, you'll love this. It's basically about this loner who builds a robot, Charles, and they get into some shenanigans together. It's very cute and very funny. So check that out. It's worth $19.99 to rent. Another movie that's worth the rent is called Resurrection with Rebecca Hall and Tim Roth. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but Tyson, you should put it on the Plex. It's got a scene in it. It's a thriller, and it's basically about this woman who has a past life. I'm not going to get into the details of that, but then someone from her past comes into her present and fucks everything up. Hence the name Resurrection. But it's very good. Tim Roth is extremely creepy. I think he's creepy in everything. But there is a scene in it in the hotel room that is super fucked up. If you're into that sort of stuff, definitely check it out. I highly recommend it. And then Hot Chip put out a new album. Have you guys listened to that?
I've listened to the single.
Nay. Oh, okay.
I like the single. It sounds like Hot Chip.
Yeah. It's Hot Chip. It's a little different from their other stuff, but I like it a lot. And then the newest season of Only Murders in the Building on Hulu. Finished that, which was freaking excellent. I liked
the
it more than
finale
season
was
1.
so good. Finale was so good.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
it was.
god,
so good, right?
So good.
Yeah, it was really good.
I may watch it again like this week just because I loved it so much.
It's funny. I actually said
fantastic.
that the other night. I want to rewatch both of them because it is just. I know I missed stuff, and it's good. It's good.
It's quality. And that, man, those intro credits, I cannot. You guys know I love credits. Like when they're done well, they're some of the best that have ever been made for like television or film.
Let me ask you a question, because I noticed on the 9th episode they were focusing on the chicken that was on the. It was like a little chicken decal that was on a like a T-shirt or whatever. And if you watch at the very beginning, there's the little old woman that got killed at the beginning of the season. And then the 9th episode, normally she's walking her parrot, but in the beginning of the 9th episode, she's walking a chicken. And so I don't. So it might be worth if you watch it again, you might see what she's walking each episode, because I think it might.
Okay, that's interesting. Actually. We'll keep an eye out.
It's the very first thing. Like when it starts up, you see an old woman walking a parrot down the street or a dog. And then at one point on the 9th episode, it was a chicken, and then it was back to a parrot on the 10th. So anyway, just something I noticed. Anyway.
Well, I'm glad you did, because that completely went over.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Which happens. Yeah, whatever. No, that's cool. Yeah, I'm gonna rewatch it too. I think it's so worth it. And then last but not least, for the plugs, little movie called Nope, directed by Jordan Peele. Holy shit, Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer in it. Amazing. Like the whole movie, that's one of the best movies I've seen this year. It is so good.
Completely agree. And also amazing, because he said he wrote a movie he didn't know how to shoot.
Yeah.
And he also shot it in IMAX, the entire thing in IMAX.
So cool.
Wow.
And it's crazy how well he did it. And yeah, I was blown away by it too. I was telling my wife Beth, I was like, it's not like, she's like, it's got to be scary and I don't want to watch it. And I was like, it's scary, like Close Encounters scary.
Yeah.
There's some things that you're just like, whoa, or whatever, but not like crazy jump scares or anything like that. Mostly it's the humor of like what I thought about. The reason it's called Nope comes very apparent when because you would be like in these situations, a lot of the main characters are like, nope, this isn't happening, and they just walk away.
Especially that scene in the truck where it's like, nope.
Nope.
I loved it. Perfect name, perfect title for this movie. Everything, start to finish.
It's really going to be a shame if it gets overlooked by the Academy, because it really was good. It was really good.
Oh yeah, I think I may have liked it better than Get Out, but I'm still battling that. And I love Get Out.
I did, just because I thought it was like a crazier story, especially because the way that they break up the acts in the movie are really centered around animals, and so and then there's a mystery animal in there that is crazy and awesome, and that's how the movie starts. And so I was watching it. I watched it by myself because I knew I'd have to watch it by myself before I could be like, and this is worth watching. She was like, I know it's great, but you have to watch it. And so, but yeah, it was really good. Like best movie I've seen in a while. I mean, and definitely contender for unbearable talent level screenplay. Just was really good. So Matt, if you haven't watched it yet,
I will watch it.
Yeah, Smith, you're gonna love it.
I'll get on.
God, that intro to it was like,
holy shit. Well, I was just like, what is this? What am I getting into with this movie?
We said the same thing. We were like, okay, are we sure we want to watch this? Okay. We're doing it.
Just wasn't expecting it. And that whole side piece and how that led into the whole thing that came later, where he was, and the predators and Jesus Christ, and the horses.
Brilliant.
It was a lot. It was also a lot like a Western. It was like an Indiana Jones type thing. Part of it was. It was really cool.
I thought so too. I this is typical Jonas, but I was like, would you call it? Because I was telling you guys like this. It was kind of like a sci-fi Western, and I asked him if he would categorize it as that. And of course he goes, no. But then he had no follow-up to it. So he was like, I don't think I'd say that, but genre-wise. And then it was like 10 minutes later, I was like, regretting I even said it.
Well,
Fine. That's my life. And then Unplug. So there is a new movie on Shudder via the AMC Plus called Glorious, and it stars the voice of J.K. Simmons, who I love. I actually like the whole person, J.K. Simmons, and then Ryan Quanten from True Blood. And it was directed by Rebecca McKendry. It's got like an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes, like both like the audience scores right up there too. So we were really stoked to watch it. Um, it's not that great. Like it, I think they tried to do some things that they don't really pull off, and it all takes place in this really gross bathroom stall. And that's all I'm going to say about it. I think they tried to get very like philosophical and weird, or like in like this existential way, and I'm like, it's not going there. It's not working for me. It was just like a dirty bathroom space story. I didn't like it. Yeah. So, guys, watch it. Put it on the Plex. And
the tagline: a dirty bathroom space story.
Yeah. That I usually don't like
that's all
sci-fi.
you
That
really
kind of
need to
intrigues me a
know.
little bit.
Don't
So.
waste your time. Yeah, well, maybe get high and watch it. Maybe that would make it better. But that's it. That's all. I had a lot. Again, I haven't been doing anything, and you guys have. So.
Okay, so I think I've already plugged this, but I'm gonna go ahead and plug it again because I saw a very funny episode this week. The Beavis and Butthead on Paramount Plus, the new episodes. They did an episode with because they introduced in the movie before they released the television series. They did a new movie and they introduced the idea of multiversal Beavis and Buttheads, and so they run it in the movie. They run into the smartest version of Beavis and Butthead, which is still not that they're not wise, but they're smart. It's kind of a thing. Anyway, in the episode this week, they did two things. The one of the segments was about Beavis taking antidepressants or anti psychotics and how Beavis was affected by that, which is amazing. And then the second and the second one was about uh, the timeline that exists outside of the movie, where Beavis and Butthead are now like in their 50s and they're still living together as roommates and still being themselves in a world where they're in their 50s and they're unemployed and they don't have any money, but they still have a place. So, and again, another great video they did this week, which was really good. But anyway, um, so I just wanted to plug that again. If you liked that show at all, you'll like this new thing. I mean, because it's the same. That's basically so.
Yeah.
It's got 100% on Rotten Tomato, like critics and viewers. But I mean, you got to know what you're getting into before you got to have liked the original.
Yeah,
to an
for
extent.
How
sure.
many episodes are
You
there?
have to have that history.
So far, there's 4 or 5.
Okay.
And they come out every Thursday, I think. But their videos are just, I'm so happy they're doing new videos. The ASMR video was so funny. There was a country video that they did in the first episode that was literally hilarious, where they got sidetracked and called basically said that the country western star was grooming the lead character, who is a guy that can't get a date in the video. And one of the lines was like, and they're like doing this thing where like they do like a thing where he's the country western singer is like trying to teach the guy that doesn't know how to get girls. Like there's a montage at the country western guy's house where he's like dressing up in his clothes and being like, he's doing like one of those Pretty Woman type fashion montages, and Beavis is like something along the lines of, just because he paid for breakfast doesn't mean it's free. Which I thought was very, very funny.
Oh man.
But anyway, yeah. So it's on Paramount Plus. I highly recommend it. And make sure you get the new one and not the old one, because you'll start at the old one and you'll be like, I've seen this. Anyway, there's a new show on Disney Plus called She-Hulk, which is based on a Marvel Comics character. It's a fourth wall breaking law room drama comedy superhero mashup. It's quite good. I mean, I like it. It's got everything that I like. It's got superheroes. It's got Boston legal style antics, but also fourth wall breaking. Occasionally, where like the lead character was like, I was watching the one today. One came out. They come out on Thursday, and like one of the characters walked in. And he's like, I don't know how you guys dealt with this guy. And She-Hulk just leans in. And she goes, "Oh, the A and B stories are coming together now. Let's watch." So like, and I enjoy stuff like that. So anyway, if you haven't watched it, it's worth checking out. Oh, and Megan the Stallion was on this episode, which was pretty funny.
Really?
Yeah, and
Wow.
Mark Ruffalo's in the first two. Tim Roth is
Oh,
in
cool.
Tim Roth is in the first two, or the first three actually. Uh,
Nice. Okay. I'm gonna watch it.
and yeah, it's I mean it's worth watching. Now I might have plugged this a long time ago, but I'm going to plug it now because it's officially over. This show called Paranormal Wellington, which is on
Oh, yeah. I
HBO
watched a
Max.
couple episodes. Yeah.
So it's a spinoff from the original What We Do in the Shadows movie. It's created by Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clements, the guys who created that show and that movie, and it's about two police officers that investigate paranormal stuff in Wellington, New Zealand, and it's pretty. The whole thing's funny. It's very New Zealand style humor. Obviously, there's a certain rhythm to it. It's less cheeky and more straightforward than
Hmm.
British humor,
Hmm.
but it still has a little bit of that whimsy. But two of the episodes in the final season made me laugh so much. The very last episode, I'm just going to mention, is they find out that their police station is buried on a Caucasian burial ground. So their police station is haunted by old white people, and oh my god, it's funny. It's so funny. Like the whole thing is like they're like trying to figure out what to do about these ghosts, and they're like, the chief's like, what do old Caucasians mostly complain about? And they're like, people on their lawn or people in their houses, and then somebody else is like, oh, even people that aren't on places they own, like the beach, like get out of here, or whatever. And they're like, okay, well, how do we use this? And basically, it's great. So, it's over. I think it's over. Although I did see that the guy paranormal, one of the main character, the actor's name is Mike Mignola or Kyle Minogue. Do you know Minogue? She was a singer. Kyle
Kylie
Minogue.
Minogue,
Kylie
Kylie
Minogue.
Minogue.
the
Yeah.
locomotion.
Yeah.
So his character is named Kyle Minogue.
Oh,
But
okay.
his real name is Mike Minogue. And anyway, he reached out to Neil Gaiman about doing a crossover with Sandman, and Neil Gaiman was like, absolutely. So that will
Cool.
happen. Anyway, it's on Paramount. It's on HBO Max, and it's very, very funny. And you can watch. There's only 25 episodes over 4 seasons. It's great, and it gets better and better
Sweet.
and better. I had Nope on here as well. Had to talk about that. The last thing I want to talk about is I went and saw Jack White on Monday. Um, I have
Yes.
I have some thoughts, and so this is why I wanted to be last. Um, so we got there. It was at Starlight, which is an outdoor theater. You park.
Uh-huh.
What I didn't realize is that everybody just sits in the parking lot and pre-games in their car, and then goes in. We didn't think
Ah.
we didn't think to do any of that, of course. But we weren't buying drinks or anything like that, so it didn't really matter. But so we went in, and the first thing I noticed when we get there, well, first thing Beth noticed was that she's like, a lot of old people are here, and I'm like, yeah, well, he's basically Led Zeppelin now for a bunch of people. So like, there were a lot of bros, there were a lot of indie people, but it was a
Hmm.
weird mix of the two. And
Yeah.
so we go in there, we get in there about 50 minutes before showtime is supposed to start, which is 8 o'clock. So there's this guy on the stage at a lectern, and he's obviously got like some sort of like DJ console thing. He's not DJing per se, but he's playing music. Like, so he's playing like the Eurythmics and Van Halen and like all these 80s stuff, and then a couple like, and the guy's like, he's working up the crowd. He's like, hey, how's it going? If you guys know this song, sing along and whatever. And I was just like, Jesus Christ, Jack White probably wants to kill that fucking guy because he's kind of being a douchebag out here, and
Uh-huh.
whatever. And anyway, and then like later on, he's like, oh, one of our crew's birthdays today, so we're gonna play the song for him. And they played Biz Marquis, you got what I need. And he's like, sing along, everybody, and they kind of sing along. Everybody's kind of like, whatever, it's Monday night, don't work too hard, right? And anyway, so it's about 8 o'clock, and the guy goes, okay, we're gonna introduce our opening band. They're called Glove. They're from Tampa, Florida, and the first thing my wife goes, she goes, oh my God, they're 12. It's like, I was like, I know we're old. We just have to deal with it. But they were kind of like a new wave tribute band. Matt, I think you'd actually like them. Uh, they took like parts of songs from Psychedelic Furs, New Order, Flock of Seagulls,
Huh.
and kind of mixed them up and made them into their own new stuff.
Interesting.
I do think you would like them. Plus, they had uh, two girls, two guys, and the girl that played drums. She came out and she did like a uh, something on the level of like "I Want Candy" type song. Only it was about annoying boys at parties because they're 12, right? And that's
Mhm.
cool, and that was good. Whatever. And so anyway, they did 45 minutes, and that was cool, and everybody was nice, and it was just not expected for an opening for it wasn't anything in the vein of you see for Jack White. And then so they get off the stage or whatever, and then the DJ, the lectern guy, it turns out he's actually with the traveling band, and he is the hype guy for Jack White. Remember hype guys? Now I haven't been to a stadium concert in a long time, so I don't know if this is just how it works now. But
Uh-huh.
he was like, everybody in here, get up on your feet and clap your hands and clap your hands and stand on your feet. He's like, if you give Jack that energy, he's gonna give it back to you.
Oh my God.
And he's like, and
Ugh.
so the
Ugh.
first thing that happens
Ugh.
is Beth and I can only go to concerts because she's 4'10", so she can only go to concerts where she doesn't stand up because she can't see anything, right?
Mm.
So immediately I'm like, oh fuck, there goes fucking $90, and then I was like, but luckily we were on. I got her a seat on the outside so she can stand out in the row a little bit and see. And this guy's like, come on, everybody, get going, and like he's like, you got to give that energy to him and he's going to give it back to you. And he's like, fun fact, Jack White never uses a set list ever in any of his shows. He just goes with what's in his gut and everybody plays along and they have to keep up with him. And then he says some other bullshit. And at this point, I'm already just pissed because I'm just like, okay, first off, because this is just me. I will stand up if a band comes out and blows the socks off me. I'll be like, fuck yeah. I'll stand up. I'll be like, yeah, these guys are amazing. Don't pregame me like that. That is not cool. Don't tell me it's going to be amazing and then make me stand up. And now I know I sound like an 85-year-old man, but I don't care. I will die on this hill. Don't fucking tell me to give the energy to the act before the act gives me any of this fucking energy. All right. So that's
Uh-huh.
one thing. Second, I watched the first hour of that. If he's not working from a set list, it is amazing how psychic his tour manager is and his tour crew that they can match all those backgrounds on the screen behind the band to every single song. And it's weird that the bass player would know to switch to a stand-up bass for 5 songs in a row if every song is not on a set list. Like I was just the whole time I was just like, God damn, this is fucking bullshit. And here's the other thing. Jack White, he was fine. I get it. All right, he's Jack White, right? I like about half his stuff. All right, he had a great band. All right, fine, fair enough. It was four people.
I will. That's the hill I'll die on, arguing that. But
Okay,
go ahead.
okay. Well, let me just say, like, I mean, it's not my kind of band. It's like a fucking session band, right? Like, you got a drummer and a keyboard player and a bass player, whatever, and they're playing and they're doing all this shit. And I really like half the stuff. Like, I really like half the stuff, especially his quiet stuff. Like he comes out, he plays 2 songs, and he plays uh, Dead Leaves, on a Dirty Ground, that.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, and I was like, that's cool. So, and then he played Fell in Love with a Girl, which is another White song. But halfway through it, he stops and he's like, let's slow this down. And then they play the rest of the song half speed. And I'm like, I don't like this. I don't want to do this anymore. And he never finished the song. He would just kind of solo into the next song. And I was like, I mean, I get, sorry. I just, it was something off putting about the whole thing. And he was high energy. I'll give him that. But it was like, it felt like the audience, it was on the audience to make sure he had a good show as opposed to
Mm,
us
yeah.
having a good show because he's Jack White and he should be able to make us all quite happy, you know? Uh,
Yeah.
that and these drunken bros behind us the whole time were like, what's he gonna play next? I'll bet it's this. I'll bet it's this. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
And they would sing it.
I think that's one of those shows that you sort of have to watch out for the fans you're watching the show with. Like there are shows I won't go see because of their fans. Like I mean, there's several of them, but Smashing Pumpkins comes to mind. Like I'd love to, back in the day, I would love to see them, but I couldn't stand those people. Anyway, sorry, Billy.
Yeah,
Billy.
Yeah. I mean, I was just like, God bless it. Like we left at. He had been playing for 50 minutes, an hour and 45 minutes straight. And I was like, she couldn't stand anymore, because she's like, she went walking at 5:30 in the morning, and it's like 11 o'clock at night. And, and I was like, let's just get the fuck out of here because these idiots behind me are pissing me off. And, and it was like, but I mean, it was good. I mean, there were a lot of extra guitar solos that I think his crowd likes. I don't particularly give a shit, but and he did this thing, which, sorry, I've been in many bands, and this thing where like the whole band, he's got his guitar and he'll go, it's dead quiet, and he's holding it up and he goes, zhong, and the whole band goes, blam, and then nothing, and people go, woo, and then he'll stand there for about 90 seconds, and then he'll go, wham, wham, and the whole band goes, bam, and he's like, and people go, woo, and I'm like, that is the fucking cheapest move. I mean, like, no offense, I was like, I was telling Beth, I was like, it's not like he was just moving his hand. He was swinging his guitar, and then when he hit the part where the guitar came to his regular place, then the rest of the band went, blam, and I'm like, this is the cheapest move in the history of rock and roll. To fucking keep that going for 9 minutes, well, and not play a song. I guess I didn't have a good time. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it
sounds like.
But
I feel like this is an unplug. Actually,
yeah,
it was kind of it was an unplug. I mean, everything about it could have been great. It was just all these other things that he was doing that I was just like, God bless it, Yeah. But I'm glad I saw him. Checked it off the list. But I mean, that's what he's going to be. He's going to be Robert Plant post Led Zeppelin with a little bit of the Stones mixed in moving forward. That's he's going to make whatever records he wants to make, and when he comes out and plays for his idiot fans, he's going to go, I'll solo for 45 minutes, and he barely talked, and I was just like,
yeah.
And it felt like I was there for him and he wasn't there for me. That's how I felt the show was.
Well,
Jack White, you owe Tyson some time.
You do. You do. Oh, some time.
Make your case, Jack White. I'll listen. Anyway, but that was the thing though, because like every other couple songs, he plays fine. It was great. It's just like, damn it. He also does this thing where I think he thinks he's playing music, but it's not. I would not consider it music. I don't know. Again, that's me. And Beth was like, "You love Pavement. That's just noise." And I'm like, "This is a different kind of noise. I don't know what it is." But again, I'm getting old, people. So
Jack White, get off Tyson's lawn.
That's exactly right.
Oh man. Well, okay, guys, we gotta go because Smith is with the fam.
Dinner.
So
I'm hungry.
Wrap it up, but yeah.
You guys, you have to. You guys, you can't see this, but you have to know if you're not watching this video. I literally got the "shut the fuck up, Tyson. We're done with it. Let's go." There's literally like a hook, like they used to use in the 1960s, where they took a hook out to the side of the stage and pulled me up.
Followed by a gong.
Yeah. Like, this was so sweet. And like, hey guys, I gotta wrap it up in 15 minutes. I gotta go eat. And then Tyson was like, I saved the best with the Jack White rant.
Sorry.
And I was like,
oh, it's fine.
I really want to go with this.
It's fine.
It's fine.
I missed the eating part. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. Sorry. No worries. We're all good.
No, this is good. I'm with you 1,000%. I'm a big Jack White fan, so I saw the Racketeers at Terminal 5 in New York, and I was like, whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, good to see you guys.
Good to see you too. It's been too long.
Yes,
absolutely.
It has. And we'll be back next week for sure.
Right.
But always a pleasure.
Oh yeah, there's Matt's messages right there. I gotta go eat and like now. I'm sorry. I didn't even see them until just now.
I almost texted like Tice. I'm sorry.
40 minutes.
You
gotta wrap up, buddy.
47 minutes ago, I told you had a bug hanging. You didn't see that one either, but no.
Did not see that. Oh no.
All right, bye, everybody.
Bye.